You don't recognize a VIP when you see one? Your boss came from my V and her daddy P. And you need to show some respect. Now where's my daughter? Baby, did Miss Cicely bring it through? Did she not bring it through? Yes, indeed, baby. Yes, indeed. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is Lady Nika, and I'm bringing you a reality recap. Today, we are doing How to Get Away with Murder. This is going to be Season 1, Episode 10. Mama's home now. All right, y'all. All right. Y'all know this is the last show before this week's finale, so I'm ready. And we're going to start on off with this review by showing, this review started off with, this show started off with us seeing Nate being arrested for the murder of Sam Keaton. And it's televised, you know, it's being televised, and the students, they watching it and stuff. Meanwhile, Laura, she goes by Frank's place, and she's standing in the doorway, and she's telling him thank you, and she goes to walk away because she thinks that he's not understanding what she's saying, but he did. She tells him she knows he and Annalise set up Nate for the rest of them, and she just wanted to say thank you to him. All right, next we go over to Connor, and he's at Oliver, and they're celebrating 1 month of sobriety. Apparently, Connor hasn't had anything alcohol to consume for a while, so they celebrating with a non-alcoholic drink. And actuality, he knows what they really celebrating is the fact that Connor basically knows Annalise is looking out for them, and so she's, you know, set Nate up to take the fall to protect her students, and that's really what he's celebrating. But he using that, you know, that lie about we gonna celebrate me not drinking for a month or whatnot. Anyway, y'all, the next thing we see Wes looking at Rebecca as she's on the phone with the police. Now, the police then gave her a call and told her they found her number in Nate's phone, and they want to talk to her to see, you know, what the connection is with Nate and her. So they're asking her to come down there, and she agrees to come down and see him. Then we go back to the scene, child. They was in there doing. They was booking him in, y'all. They sprayed him down, made him do the bend and cough and everything. I just felt so bad for poor little Detective Sexy, a.k.a. Hotness. But that's what happened, y'all. So next we see Cicely. That's when she came in and gave old Frank and Blondie, Bunny. I know her name Bunny, but I call her Blondie because she had like she did it. But anyway, this bitch, that's when Cicely came into Annalise's house and told him, you know, actually, she walked in and she was telling them with all these murders and stuff going on around here, y'all just leaving the door open for people to be able to walk in like that. And then that's when they actually, well, Frank asked her, you know, could he help her? And then Blondie came up and she was like trying to tell Sister that they weren't getting, you know, taking any new cases because she and Frank not realizing that that's Annalise's mama. And that's when she gave him that classic read about, oh, you don't recognize VIP, baby. Anyway, they tell her what Annalise said, and she goes up there to Annalise's room, and she jumped right in Annalise's ass, because I guess she thought that she could, you know, sometimes we as parents, we try different methods to get through to our children, and her mom's first method to try to reach her daughter was to talk a little shit to her. Sister says so. As she was opening them curtains, she says, so the no-count sorry-ass husband, who I said don't marry, can't keep his Peter in his pants and goes out and sleeps with a white woman and kills her when he finds out she got his bun in the oven. And after that, your ex-police boyfriend goes out and kills him and gets himself arrested. Now you got no husband, no boyfriend, and you laying up in this motherfucker like you the Queen of Sheba. Oh, she told her, oh, I'm already on to this one. She had somebody look it up on the internet and give her the 411, baby. She went to going in on Annalise, but she realized at that point after she said all that how devastated Annalise was. So she reverted to another method that as parents we use, and that's you know, trying to console and comfort, because I guess she realized at that point her daughter was really messed up over the stuff that had been going on around her. So the next scene we see is them introducing this week's case. And this week's case is going to be this nurse. It's kind of homely looking thing. Well, she ugly, y'all. They had her looking real homely, like one of them Amish Pentecostal type chicks. I mean, girl was homely looking as hell. But she's a nurse at a hospital, and she's being charged with raping a patient. And she's telling them that, you know, she didn't do it. And they take on her case. And the next thing we see is they flip to a scene where they going into the courtroom, y'all. And the DA is presenting her case. And when it's time for Bonnie, because Bonnie took the case on while Annalise is sick, you know, going through her depression and stuff about everything that's been going on. Bonnie's in this courtroom, y'all, and she's decided to take over this case and try to work it. And in her opening argument, she basically told the jury that she was gonna prove her client to be guilty. It was a slip of tongue, but just goes to show you she ain't no Annalise child. Anyway, she realized the mistakes, and you know, the students are in the courtroom too, so they looking at her, and Connor Miss says, talking about, oh, she is not a Annalise. Anyway, you see out in the hallway after that opening argument that Blondie is talking to the actual attorney who represents the hospital, and he's basically asking, you know, her, is she able to really take care of this case like that? Because if she can't, it's going to wind up causing a major civil suit for the hospital, and he don't want that sort of thing. And she telling him she can handle it. That was a mishap in court, and, you know, she's going to take care of the business. So, next we see Blondie and Frank, they discussing the case. The prosecution has an eyewitness that's saying that the nurse did, in fact, rape that patient, right? Nice looking guy. So they need to discredit him. And so Frank and Michaela, they go talk with the eyewitness, which happens to be the girlfriend of the guy that saying that he saw the nurse raping her, and find out that he had some type of TIA attack. And I know what a TIA attack was because I suffered one myself a couple months back. And what it is, it's a mini stroke. And during that period, you know, you can hallucinate, think you see stuff and whatnot, but it's not really what, you know what I'm saying, it's not what you think it is. It causes a lot of side effects. And apparently this lady has said that. So when they go back into the courtroom, they have the eyewitness on the stand, and Blondie go to ask his ass, you know, do he know this woman and did she take care of him? Baby, whole boy say, I know who she is, but you can't believe nothing that lying bitch say. That man went in on that woman on that damn stuff. Well, anyway. Alright. So next we switch to a scene where Annalise's mom is removing some of Sam's clothes, and Annalise gets mad about the shit. She's like, this is a man's possession and not some hand-me-downs from a poor boss at the church. And that sends Cicely into an attack, because one thing we found out is Annalise came from very humble beginnings, and she wanted, as she grew up, she wanted to distance herself from that old lifestyle as much as she can. You know, it wasn't good enough to just be, you know, successful in her own right and just live her life. No, Annalise changed her name, because we find out in this episode that her name was actually Anna Mae, but she switched it to Annalise because anything that reminds her of her growing up, she don't have no relief, you know, she don't want to have to be reminded of it. So she changed up a lot of her life to veer away from that. And when she said that shit about down, you know, this is a man clothes and not some possessions, you know, not some hand-me-downs from a poor boss at the church, Sister got into read mode on her ass. And she reminded Annalise of her humble beginnings, and that she made mention of that house that she had bought them. And, you know, even though it burnt down to the ground, she says she has always provided the basic necessities for her. And that's when we find out, you know, then that Annalise did change her damn name, but child, her mama wasn't hearing that. Her mama told her she protected her. And Annalise questions that because as a kid, we find out something happened with an uncle that came to live with them, and she thinks her mom wasn't protective of her. Her mama called her Anna Mae again, and it was at that point that Annalise wanted to correct her mom and tell her mom that she should respect her request to be called by her new name and not her former name. And sister basically told her ass, "What you talking about respect? Your request? The hell you think you are, Oprah?" She told her, "I wiped your ass and I'll call you whoever I want." And I was here for it. So I guess Annalise didn't want to fight no more, so she told her mama to go ahead and take whatever she want from Sam's closet and give it to whoever she wanted to give it to. And her mom then asks her a very serious question. She tells her straight up, "Did you kill him?" And she goes on to tell her, "Only person that can judge you in this situation right now is God. I'm not here to judge, but did you kill him?" And Annalise just basically pulled the covers up over her head. She didn't answer. So we go back to the courtroom, and the DA talking to a computer expert. And he tells her that, the nurse does frequent this kind of sex site. And on this sex site, he was able to pull up her profile. I think she was known as Freaking Nightingale or some shit like that, y'all. Well, anyway, this bitch on the motherfucking computer talking about she had the opportunity to, be with one of the sexiest men she ever seen in her life, and how she straddled that thing, and, she bragged about the basically raping this man. And she went on to say that he was her patient. So she basically let him know she's a nurse or something in the healthcare profession, because she got a patient and she done raped this man because she think he fine or whatever. Well, Blondie didn't know that shit, so Blondie live it. So Blondie pulls her out, to their little sidebar, and she tells her that Chad, that's the sexy dude, the patient name, offered her sex, and she was, because she's so unattractive and felt like she would never get an opportunity like that again, y'all, she went ahead on and accepted it. But she didn't want it to ever come out because her father is a Episcopalian church minister, and her mom plays the organ every Sunday. So you can kind of come from a real religious background where, I'm sure premarital sex is looked down on. So, that's why she tells her that she, sex is embarrassing for her. Mama didn't even know she had sex is embarrassing for her. So Blondie goes back and she tells the students that they need to try and prove that their sex was actual consensual. And it's at that moment that the students are really starting to question her, because they feel like it's a straight up lie and it's something Annalise wouldn't have gone for or fallen for. So she basically go out on the ass. She's like, "Do you question Annalise when she tells you to do something?" She told them, "Shut up and do their damn job." And they did a little small, talk after she said that, and they set out to find the evidence. But while they talking, Annalise's mom come in, because Asher standing up there doing some whole kind of freaky dance, talking about he done slept with ugly girls before, but he don't remember. And Annalise's mom came in and told him to said some woman should be ashamed if she dealing with that. But she got their ass together, because they come in there and they just put stuff everywhere like they always do. And but they wasn't doing it with Annalise's mama. That she told them to clean that shit up. It looked like a pigsty. And so they said, yeah. And child, they go to cleaning that shit up. Okay, next we see, while Cicely was checking the students, Wes went up to Annalise's room, and he wanted to talk to her because the police wanted to interview Rebecca, and he wanted to know, whatever she could tell him to do, so he can go back and tell Rebecca. And she basically tell Rebecca to stick to the story, and then she got confidence that he got there. She was building him up so that he could be able to go back and, encourage Rebecca to go in and just stick to the story. Don't add nothing, don't take nothing away. Stick to the motherfucking story. And she's telling him he got this. She knows she can entrust him to be able to take this, take that girl down there and coach her so that she don't go in there and do nothing foul and fuck shit up. Well, at that moment, Cicely done come up them stairs, y'all. When Cicely came up the stairwell, excuse me, she says to Annalise, I can't leave you alone for a second without you having some young boy trying to come up here and look up in your face or whatever. Well, Wes, she tells Wes, you go ahead and take care of that, and you just tell her what I said, and you can stick, I know you can take care of this. So Wes leave out the room, and Cicely, Annalise is telling Cicely, that's one of my students. And she said, Annalise's mama was off the chain. She say, it's somebody always got to be the teacher and somebody always got to be the student. And that makes for the best sex. Baby, I was through with Miss Sister. She had done read that girl for fear real quick. In other words, she ain't want nobody right up there with her. Okay, next we see Wes and Rebecca. They down at the police station, and he telling her, stick to the story. And she went in, and y'all know what she did. She lied. She went in there and told them people that Nate tried to get her to plant evidence, and when she said that she wouldn't do it, he threatened her. But then, she was like, well, I didn't hear anything else. He threatened me, but next thing we know, Sam is dead. So I guess he was able to get done what he wanted to get done. In other words, throwing the boy further under the bus, saying that he was planning on killing Sam, and when he couldn't get her to help, he threatened her, but he went on off and did what he had to do to Sam. That little girl, see, I told y'all that Rebecca is a trip, and I cannot wait till Thursday night where we can see this shit come to an end, because I hope this bitch get hers, for real. She a trip, She a trip. So in the next scene, we see Oliver and Connor. They're at Oliver's place, and he's saying he want to meet Connor's friend, which is the students, because that's who he spend the most of his time with. Well, they doing a little small talk. Meanwhile, Oliver looking up that patient, hacking into his shit to see what kind of information he can find out. And he finds out, oh boy, gay. He got all kinds of lewd pictures of himself on a gay site. So next we back in court, and Blondie asks him about ask him about it, and he says well, wait a minute, hold on, y'all. When they went back into court, Blondie was trying to bring up the fact the man was gay. Well, the judge called for the attorneys to come to the front, have a little meeting with him up in the front, call him to the bench, and basically, the judge, what I was getting was saying that they couldn't use that evidence, of him being gay or whatever, because it's borderline discriminatory. And so he ordered the jury to disregard everything that Blondie had said about the boy being gay, right? So next we see the hospital attorney. He done came at Blondie trying to reach a plea deal because he's witnessing Blondie make a lot of errors in that courtroom. Plus, he got a hidden agenda, y'all. And he feels she's going to lose. And he tell her, you need to get a plea agreement going because the hospital's willing to go ahead and pay it on out. But in the meantime, you need to get Annalise up out of that bed because you're going to lose this case and we don't need that problem. Well, Blondie says she's more than capable, and she tells him, no, I'm going to stick with this here. She said the hospital is her client. She said a nurse her client, not the damn hospital. And that's why they out in that hallway. She telling him that. And we see a scene where Laura walks up on Michaela, doing something in her phone, and she looks down and sees that Michaela is looking up Nate's court hearing. Michaela been feeling bad about it because she know that Nate is innocent, and then, it's the black thing, she don't want to see him go down. So we go back to, we back at Annalise's house, and Blondie, she was in there having a drink because she feeling like she losing this case too. And she tells him she feels she could lose the case, but she can't bring herself to go up to Annalise's room and ask her for help. And she asked Frank why didn't he tell her about what was going on, because Blondie the one that really ain't know too much about it. She just sat here and been watching and listening, and she's pretty much figured out what's going on. But she said she feeling some kind of way because Annalise didn't want to tell her about it, and told him not to tell her nothing about it. So she said it's because of those reasons that she can't bring herself to go up and ask for help, because Annalise already don't trust her no more. So next we come to where Michaela is sweet talking this court stenographer. What she's doing is trying to find out information on Nate, Detective Sexy, right? And she sweets talking, and he winds up spilling some tea on Rebecca. He told her that what Rebecca said when she went to visit the police for the interview. He told her that Rebecca said that Detective Lackey had wanted her to plant evidence, and she refused, and he threatened her. And y'all know that's a lie, but she told it. That's what she told him. Told the police. And the boy, the court dude that Michaela sitting up playing with, trying to get into his head, pulling a con on that nigga. He tells Michaela that, and she goes and tells Laura about it. While Connor and Wes are standing there, Wes is kind of trying to defend her, but he's starting to flash back on different things, that don't add up. And one of those things was he remembers stuff about this guy named Rudy that used to live in his apartment that Rebecca knows. And so they basically, he's saying he feel like he need to do a little bit more investigation because he don't really believe this girl. And we see that him and Laura actually do wind up going down to the police station and getting a police report of what happened the night that Rudy was arrested. And from there, they're able to determine that Rudy was put into a psychiatric facility because after being arrested, he had a mental breakdown. And so her and Wes go and try to, see this guy. And while they in there seeing this guy, he off, whatever he experienced or seen is really got him off. But Laura brought up a picture of Rebecca, and he started really getting, he got kind of anxious and started rocking more, and he kept saying water. Now, if he was saying water, Wes is thinking back that Lala Stangard was found in that damn container filled with water. So he's trying to start putting pieces together. Meanwhile, y'all, he had been ignoring Rebecca's phone calls because she been calling his ass. Well, this bitch, he's so weak for this girl. This girl uses his cell phone to the location of his cell phone and found out where he is. And when she saw that he was at that psychiatric hospital, y'all, it was a look of fear and anger that she seemed to have on her face. But she know now that he don't trust her motherfucking ass. So that's where we left off on Nick. You know what I'm saying? Okay, back at Annalise's house, her mom was in that kitchen cooking. And Annalise finally emerged from that damn room because she been sitting in that damn room since Nate went to jail. And I'm thinking to myself, I know her mama glad she came out the damn room because Annalise got the same shit on like she ain't washed her ass and then y'all. She just in a depressing stew. And so she coming in, her mama in there cooking, and her mama asks her about where the students and everybody that's usually around the house is, and her mama she tells her mama they in court, they dealing with a case where a woman is being accused of rape, and her mama started laughing because she thinks that's funny. Her mama says she don't believe that a woman can be raped because men always take things, which turned the conversation to something serious. And basically, Annalise asked her mom, did she know? And her mama's like, know what? And Annalise got frustrated with her mom because it became evident the woman knew, but she felt like her mom didn't do anything for her. So they have a few minutes of going back and forth with words, and Annalise gets up to leave. But before she leaves out of the kitchen, she throws this glass over by the sink away from her mom. And I guess that prompted Sister, let me get this bitch together right quick. So she walks up behind her and she tells her, let me tell you something. You did not have to turn to Sam to deal with your problems. You feel like didn't nobody care about you. She said back in my day, the way we was raised, and I talked about this in a video about that, what stays in my house, what go on in my house, stay in my house. Y'all go back through my video archives and looking for that. It's called Family Secrets. But that's basically what we see playing out right here in front of the screen. Her mama did not want to say anything because it's hard to prove it. I guess back in them days, they kept things under the rug. They kind of swept it under the rug and tried to act like nothing ever happened. But it's at that moment her mama let her know, girl, my first job, after choir practice, Pastor so-and-so got me. Your auntie, first grade teacher, got her. We didn't make no fuss about it. We just go on and we try to live past all of that. We live with it in spite of it. But you didn't have to go to Sam for nothing. And Annalise said that Sam was able to look at her and tell exactly what her story was, and that she was still harboring some hurt behind her mama not being there for her. And Cicely told her, you didn't have to go to no white man for this shit. You know what I'm saying? And I guess Annalise is getting frustrated because she's still not understanding that, maybe I took this wrong. Maybe my mom was there for me and I don't know it. But at this time, she don't know nothing about what went on. All she know is she feel like her mom wasn't there to protect her, and that's what's making her mad. And she tell her mama basically, I don't need you. You can go home. And she walks back upstairs and go to her room. She pissed off, y'all. So next, we go back to court. And when we're in court, Blondie wants to accept the plea deal that the DA is offering her because the hospital attorney has agreed to pay it, which would have been $500,000, right? Well, the judge is ready to hit the gavel and sign off on all of this, but Blondie says, for the record, I want the lawyer for the hospital to go on record saying that they are going to take care of this cost, this restitution that she has to pay. And the judge try to do some fake ass, you know how they do in court, child. The judge try to tell you, you better be glad, you better be lucky or whatever. And in some cases they right for the shit they say, some cases they ain't. But, he told her that, and the lawyer did stand up and agree to paying the $500,000. Well, right as the judge is about to hit the gavel yet again to end this case, Blondie said, and before you do that, I want to go on record saying that the hospital attorney, I forget his damn name, when he agreed to pay her restitution, he also agreed to pay himself $250,000. $250,000 of the $500,000 because him and the patient are lovers. So it's been an elaborate scheme. It was a scheme set up by the lawyer for the hospital and the patient to frame this nurse so that the hospital would pay out to keep them going, having their name smeared and possibly losing investors or whatever it is that they do in the hospital realm. I don't know. But it wouldn't have been a good look for the hospital if a lawsuit came against them. So that's what they set up and set the plan up. Him and the patient and the lawyer are lovers. The hospital lawyer. They set up a plan so that they would extort money from the hospital, and they set up a joint banking account that Blondie was able to bring out in court, proving that it was a scheme the whole time. So the DA wound up having to dismiss the damn case, and Blondie feeling like she about this far off the earth because she realized that she can do it, and she did do it. She was able to keep the nurse from having to, plead to something that she didn't do, and brought out the fact that the lawyer and the patient both were in on a scheme to defraud the hospital of funds so that they could live good and shit. So, child, after all this shit happened, you see a scene where Blondie walking out in the parking lot to her car, and Asher's out there and he's congratulating her and stuff like that, saying that he glad that she was able to do it. And child, this motherfucker get to kissing on him, and they go to getting it in the damn parking garage. Meanwhile, a couple of cars away, Frank's sitting there watching all of that shit. So that's where we left off with them. Now, let's go on to Oliver meeting up with Connor and the rest of the students, because remember, Oliver wanted to meet Connor's friends. So he gets there and he gets real drunk because he's nervous and stuff. But before he arrived, Connor had told them that, he told Oliver that he was on drugs because the night that they actually killed Sam, he was so out of it in his head, like all the rest of them was, that he went there and he was acting all erratic, and the only way he could play it off was to say he had a drug problem. So they go along with it and everything. It's a nice little meet up, but Connor got drunk. Oliver got drunk. So we see a scene flip over to them at Oliver's apartment. Oliver drunk, Connor trying to get him in the bed, and so he can lay down and sleep the shit off. And Oliver's trying to have sex with him, but Connor actually cares about this man now. So he don't want to have drunken sex with him because they're not officially back together. It's just that they've been able to, they care about each other, but Oliver not over all the bullshit that Connor has done in the past. But it's at that time, I guess they say a drunken man will speak the truth because he let him know he loved him and he did want them to be back together. And Connor basically said that that can happen, but he wasn't going to violate him while he's, inebriated. So he puts him on the bed, and that's where we leave off with them. So next, y'all, which is the final one, we go back to Annalise's mama house. And remember, she told her mama she wanted to leave. So she's sitting on the side of her bed, Annalise is, and her mama walks to the door of her bedroom and tells her, I'm leaving tomorrow. And Annalise goes to crying because she feeling bad about this. She got all this shit going on, and she not really trying to have a bad relationship with her mama. She just feel like her mama didn't understand what she been through. And it's at that moment that they pull out the old sit between mama leg, baby. Ooh, them the days, baby, when you sit between mama leg and she stretch out your head. Even though I think that was some bullshit, how they had the microphones on that goddamn by Annalise's head, so every motherfucking raking that woman head that Cicely did with that comb, you could hear, look, child, y'all ain't right for this shit. But anyway, Shonda, I know where you going, girl, but you was wrong for that. Well, anyways, her mama scratching out her head and stuff. Her mama begins to recall a story about one winter when her uncle Clyde, I believe, came to visit with them. And now Uncle Clyde had fallen on hard times. So, back in the older days, family stuck together, and I think that, I can believe that because those are the kind of old-fashioned values that I have. That's why I've been in my house for that in 20 years of my own shit, and I done had people stay in my house. Out of almost 20 years, I know at least 15 of them years, somebody has been living here off and on, family members that fell on hard time, because when you raised back then, family first. You know what I'm saying? So she let her uncle come stayed up in there. But her uncle was a drunk, and he used to smoke cigarettes a whole lot. And Annalise's mama tells her one night, out the clear blue, she just woke up in the middle of the night and she went to check on Annalise and as she was and her siblings. And as she was going out the door to check on, walking to, I guess, to go check on them, she seen her uncle, Annalise's uncle, coming out of Annalise's room, and she knew what had happened. But the lady said it's hard to prove that kind of stuff. So she sat on this information for a little while. And the very next night, well, I ain't going to say the very next because we don't know if it was the next night or not. But eventually, her mama sat there and thought about that shit for a while. And she caught that uncle when he was drunk like that again. And had that cigarette hanging out of his mouth. She didn't bother to try to take the cigarette out of his mouth and put it out this time. What she did was went and got her kids and took them to her aunt's house, to their aunt's house. And her mama went back to that house, and she burnt the house down with her dad, with her uncle, in that damn house. So basically, Annalise finds out at that moment her mama had her back the whole time and she just didn't know it. Her mama knew that her uncle had violated her, and her mama knew where she was coming from and how she felt. But back then they handled things so differently than what we would do now. Now 2015, my daughter's coming here, even though my daughters are 25 and 22. They walked in here and said, a family friend, well, here in my case, I don't give a damn who it is, honey, but any one of them come and tell me that, child, let me show y'all something. I don't play no game. I take this bitch everywhere. Oh, this is my little Michael Kors purse my daughter bought me. But I take this hoe everywhere with me. You see how big this is? That's because I don't play by my children. And in the end of this episode, what basically Annalise found out was mother instinct would kick in and we would do whatever we got to do. I'm sorry, y'all. That's my son. I'm pushing him back out the room. But anyway, that's how she found out that her mom really did love her all this time, even though she thought she didn't. And her mom did protect her, you know what I'm saying? Because her mama burnt down the house that she had just bought. And she burnt the house down with that man in that damn house. So next week, y'all, which is coming into this week, because this video is actually going to be uploaded today, and today is Monday, we will see on Thursday the 2-hour season finale, where all of this is going to get wrapped up. We're going to understand everything that's going on, and I'm really excited about it. I ain't even worrying about, you know, the questions that are going on in my mind. I'm basically just waiting to see this episode, and y'all know I'm going to be back down here, because I'm going to try to get back on schedule this week, but I'm going to be back down here in this camera talking to y'all about this, and it may be an hour-long review, because I know Shonda is going to give it to us. So we're going to meet back up here we're going to meet back up here on Thursday. I can't say same time, same place, because it's Monday and I'm just not getting this up because I've been kind of busy. I took a couple of days off from making videos to just really get me together. And plus I had some personal family issues going on. But health-wise, I've been fine. I just needed a couple of days to get things kind of, you know, together and gain perspective on some stuff that was going on around me. Y'all, the motherfucking cheering is not gone. I thought we was going to be here by ourselves making videos in every room of this bitch, but some situations happen, so the cheering's still here. And once again, like I said, the things a parent won't do. But anyway, y'all, I got a couple of videos I got to do today to get them up to y'all. And I'm going to try to get them all in. Your Love and Hip Hop and Blake and Crew review may not come up until tomorrow morning, because I think I only have a limit of 5 to do today. And I pretty much got 5 videos to do, because I haven't done anything this weekend. I took the weekend off for myself. But in the meantime, in between time, y'all, please like, comment, subscribe, share my videos. And I will see you guys on the next video. In the meantime, well, until then, peace.